Welcome, you curious learners, to The Deep Dive,
Brought to you by BookCast FM.
bringing books to life, one cast at a time. Our mission here is, well, simple. We take sources like today's incredibly insightful book, The Simple Path to Wealth by J.O. Collins, and we pull out the most important nuggets for you. Think of us as expert guides really cutting through the noise.
Yeah, giving you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed.
Exactly.
And Colin's book, it started as letters to his daughter, right?
Yeah?
But it's really become this cornerstone for anyone wanting financial independence, real clarity in, a world full of confusing advice.
It really promises that straightforward path. No nonsense.
Definitely.
So today, we're going to unpack those core ideas, dive into some surprising facts, maybe,
Yeah, there are a few.
and highlight the mindset shifts. Those are crucial, aren't they?
Absolutely key.
This deep dive is really for anyone who wants that knowledge quickly, thoroughly, but without feeling, buried in information.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start where Collins does. He kicks off with this really provocative idea. If you can't eat it, you don't own it. What's he actually getting at there? Why challenge our usual ideas of wealth?
Right, it's fundamental to his whole philosophy.
Well-
He's pushing back hard against this common idea that, fancy cars or the latest gadgets are wealth.
The visible stuff.
Exactly, the visible stuff. He argues real wealth is what you don't see. Your savings, your investments, that feeling of security.
Oh, okay.
So if you can't eat it, you don't own it. It's a metaphor, right? He means productive assets versus things that just lose value, liabilities.
Like a car.
Like a car, yeah. Usually a depreciating liability. It costs you money, it doesn't make you money. He wants us to shift from buying stuff to buying assets that work for us.
Okay, that makes sense. And that leads right into how we should view money itself, doesn't it?
Totally. He emphasizes money's a tool. It's not the end goal.
Right.
And what's really interesting is his focus on freedom over, say, luxury. He argues, pretty convincingly, I think, that true wealth is having control over your time, your choices, not just accumulating more things.
So rejecting consumerism, basically.
Exactly. Rejecting consumerism and what he calls lifestyle inflation, where your spending just keeps pace with your income rising.
Yeah, the golden handcuffs.
Kind of, yeah. He sees high earners stressed and broke because they just spend more as they make more. He contrasts that with folks on modest incomes who achieve real independence through, being frugal and saving smart. His quote is powerful. Money can buy many things, but nothing more valuable than your freedom. It's about having options.
Options, not just obligations. I like that.
Yeah.
And that focus on freedom, it brings us to probably the most famous concept from the book, FU money. Sounds blunt,
Tis blunt.
but incredibly powerful psychologically.
Yeah.
So what is it? Why is it such a turning point?
Okay, so FU money, it isn't necessarily about retiring completely. It's about having enough saved and invested that you can just say no
Say no to what?
to bad situations. A toxic job, a horrible boss, any situation that limits you or makes you miserable, it gives you autonomy. Real choice.
Without the financial fear.
Precisely. Collins says, the greater your FU money stash, the more boldly you can live your life on your terms. Imagine knowing you could walk away if things got really bad at work.
That changes everything.
It really does. He even says a small FU fund changes the dynamic. You're not trapped anymore. It takes the fear out of decisions, lets you negotiate better, live more authentically.
That's liberating just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if freedom's the goal, how do we get there? Investing feels, scary and complicated for many people.
Right.
But Collins insists it should be simple. What's his short lesson that cuts through the noise?
Well, his core argument is that the financial industry benefits from making it seem complex. They want you to pay for advice for actively managed funds.
Okay.
Collins just strips it all down. His short lesson is basically long-term investing is simple, it's accessible, and it works. His main tool, low-cost index funds.
Specifically VTSAX, right? Vanguard Total Stock Market.
That's his favorite, yeah. VTSAX. It's basically a basket holding tiny pieces of almost every public company in the U.S., super diversified.
And the key is low cost.
Ultra low cost. And because they just track the market, they historically outperform most funds where managers are actively picking stocks and charging high fees for it. It's about owning the market, not trying to outsmart it.
Okay, but hold on. Why do index funds almost always win this great debate against stock picking or active funds? Is it really just fees?
Fees are a huge part of it, yeah. But it's also simple math and, honestly, human behavior. The data is overwhelming.
Like what?
Well, studies from places like Morningstar, S&P, they consistently show upwards of 80%, sometimes more, of active funds fail to beat their benchmark index over, say, 10 or 15 years.
80%.
Yeah, and picking individual stocks successfully long-term, it's incredibly hard. Even professionals struggle. We get emotional, right? We buy high out of excitement, sell low out of fear. We all are. So Collins asks, why try to beat the market when you can simply own it and win? He's blunt. Wall Street wants you to think investing is complicated so you'll pay them. It's not.
And didn't Warren Buffett make a bet about this?
He did. Famously bet $1 million that a simple S&P 500 index fund would beat a selection of hedge funds over 10 years.
Yeah.
He won. Easily.
Wow. Okay. So Collins boils this simple path down to just a few steps then. What's the core approach, and why is VTSAX the one fund to rule them all?
The path is beautifully simple. Step 1, spend less than you earn. Step 2, invest the surplus. Step 3, avoid debt like the plague.
Okay.
Step 4, put that surplus into low-cost, broad-based index funds like VTSAX. Step 5, wait, be patient.
That's it.
That's the core of it. VTSAX gets the nod because it gives you massive diversification across the whole U.S. economy. Thousands of stocks. Its fees are minuscule. It's passive. Tax efficient. It's like buying a slice of everything.
Uses that horse race analogy, right?
Yeah. Instead of trying to pick the winning horse, just buy the whole field. You're guaranteed to own the winners.
Love that. And the engine driving this whole thing. Compound interest. Einstein's eighth wonder.
Ah, yes. The magic ingredient.
Collins really hammers home that time. Not timing the market is your biggest advantage.
It's incredibly powerful. Compounding is just your money earning money on itself, earning interest. It snowballs.
Exponentially, right?
Exactly. He shows how even small, regular investments, maybe a few $100 a month, can grow into huge sums over decades, like $5,000 a year at 7%, over $1 million in 40 years.
That's staggering.
And his example comparing someone starting at 20 versus 30 is eye-opening. The person who starts at 20, even if they only invest for 10 years, can end up with more than someone starting at 30 who invests for 35 years.
Just because of that earlier compounding.
Purely, it highlights his point. Time is your most valuable asset wasting. It is the most expensive mistake you can make.
Okay, so the strategy is simple. Index funds, time, compounding. But we all know the phrase buy low, sell high. Sounds easy. Why do so many people fail? Collins says, the enemy is us.
That's the uncomfortable truth, isn't it? He argues, and the data backs him up, that investor behavior, our psychology, is the main reason people underperform.
How so?
Studies show the average investor earns way less than the actual market returns, maybe 3–4% instead of the market's historical 7–10%.
Why the gap?
Fear and greed. We get excited when markets are soaring, so we pile in buying high. Then when markets inevitably crash, we panic and sell, locking in losses, selling low.
The exact opposite of what we should do.
Precisely. Collins says flat out, the single biggest reason people fail as investors is because they don't stay invested. And your emotions are the enemy of sound investing. It's a constant internal battle.
So if our emotions betray us, how do we handle those inevitable market crashes? The big scary ones that make you want to sell everything? Collins reassures us, saying the market always goes up. What does he mean?
He means over the long term. He's not saying it won't crash. It will. Bear markets are normal. They happen. But his point, backed by nearly a century of U.S. market history, is that they are temporary.
Always temporary.
Historically, yes. The market has always recovered from every single crash, every bear market, and eventually gone on to reach new highs. Always. The real damage isn't the crash itself, it's selling during the crash out of panic.
Okay.
He uses that great metaphor. A man walking a dog on a leash.
Right.
The dog, that's the market, darting all over the place, up and down, excited, scared. But the man, the long-term economic trend, just keeps walking steadily forward.
Patience again?
Patience. As he puts, I think maybe Buffett originally said it, the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient.
Which leads directly to his next warning. Why you shouldn't try to time the market. What's the real cost of trying to guess the tops and bottoms?
It's basically impossible, first off, and second, it's incredibly damaging to your returns. Collins points to data showing that if you miss just a handful of the market's best days, it's just a few days.
Yeah, like the 10 best days over 20 years, missing those can cut your total return in half or more.
Wow.
Because those big up days often happen right after big down days when people are most scared and likely to be out of the market. So his advice is simple. Time in the market always beats timing the market.
Don't jump in and out.
Don't even try. He also says more money is lost preparing for downturns than in the downturns themselves because people sell too early or stay out too long.
Okay, that makes sense. So, connecting all this, Collins has this section, the best investment advice you'll never get. What's that advice, and why won't we hear it from the traditional financial world?
Yeah, this is where he gets really critical. The advice is basically invest consistently in broad-based, low-cost index funds, hold them forever, and ignore everything else.
The simple path.
The simple path. And he argues you won't hear that clearly from much of the financial industry because, well, they make money from complexity, from selling actively managed funds with higher fees, from trading commissions, from advisory fees based on assets under management. Their incentives aren't aligned with that simple advice.
Often no. He stresses the difference between salespeople and true fiduciaries advisors legally obligated to put your interests first. He points out how even a seemingly small 1% annual fee demolishes your returns over time through lost compounding. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially.
Ouch.
Yeah. So he says the best investment advice is simple. That's why you won't hear it from someone paid to sell complexity. His empowering conclusion, you are the best person to manage your money.
Takes responsibility, but also gives control.
Yeah.
Okay, moving beyond just stocks and bonds, Collins also tackles big life decisions, college, cars, career. What's his take, especially on avoiding debt?
He sees these as major forks in the road financially. With college, he warns against taking on crippling debt, especially for degrees that don't have clear earning potential. He says, a college degree is only as valuable as the market values the skill it represents. Be smart about the cost versus the potential return. Cars. He's brutal. The depreciating liability is almost always. If you borrow money to buy a car, you're not buying a car, you're buying debt.
So buy used, pay cash.
That's his advice. Buy reliable, used cars with cash. Drive them into the ground. And your career. That's your main wealth engine. The key is, as your income grows, don't let your spending grow with it. Avoid that lifestyle inflation. Keep saving and investing the difference.
Right. Now, here's the one that really makes people pause. His view on houses. Most think of homeownership as a great investment, Collins says. Terrible investment. Why?
Yeah, this is probably his most controversial point. He really pulls back the curtain. He argues a house is primarily where you live. It's consumption.
Not an investment.
Not necessarily a good financial investment compared to, say, index funds. He's not against owning a home for lifestyle reasons, but purely financially, he questions it.
Why specifically?
Okay, several reasons. One, it doesn't usually generate income unless you rent part of it out. Two, it's highly illiquid, hard to sell quickly. Three, the hidden costs are huge. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance repairs, mortgage interest.
Opportunity costs too, right? Yeah. Money tied up that could be invested elsewhere.
Exactly. Big opportunity costs. So he says, a house is where you live. That doesn't make it a good place to park your money. And famously, if you want to grow rich, rent and invest the difference.
Definitely makes you think differently about the American dream.
It does. It's a purely financial perspective, but a valid one to consider.
Okay, so we've absorbed all these ideas, some quite radical. Where does someone actually start? Collins provides a clear checklist, right? What are the absolute first steps?
Yeah, he makes it very actionable and stresses it's never too late. The checklist boils down to this. 1, get rid of debt, especially credit cards, ruthlessly.
Okay.
2, live below your means. Track your spending. Find ways to save more. Aim for a high savings rate, 20%, 30%, even 50% plus if you can swing it.
Invest the surplus.
3, invest that surplus consistently in low-cost total stock market index funds. VTSAX is his go-to.
Tax-advantaged accounts first.
4, yes. Max out your 401k, especially up to the employer match that's free money. Then look at HSAs if available, then Roth or traditional IRAs. Only after those do you go to regular taxable brokerage accounts.
Makes sense.
5, automate everything. Set up automatic transfers to savings, automatic investments. Takes emotion out of it. 6, ignore the noise. Market news predictions, just tune it out. Stay the course.
And 7.
7, let time and compounding do the heavy lifting. Trust the process. Be patient. He promises, if you follow these steps, you will become financially independent. It is inevitable.
That's a bold promise, but the steps are clear. Now, once you start building wealth, you also need to protect it. Collins talks about threats like fraud, lawsuits. What are the key safeguards?
Yeah, protecting it is just as crucial as building it. He warns, it takes decades to build wealth. It can take moments to lose it. So safeguards are vital. Basic, essential insurance is non-negotiable. Good health insurance, proper auto and home or renter's insurance. As your assets grow, an umbrella liability policy becomes really important. It adds extra protection against lawsuits. Term life insurance, if people depend on your income, maybe disability insurance. Beyond insurance, it's about vigilance against scams, avoiding bad financial advice like those complex high-fee products.
And having legal stuff in order.
Absolutely. A solid will, a durable power of attorney, healthcare directives. These ensure your wishes are followed and protect your assets if something happens to you. Don't neglect the legal side.
Got it. So wrapping this up, what really stands out to me is this sheer freedom Collins offers. Freedom from jargon, from anxiety. Freedom to live your life. It's simple, but requires that discipline.
It really does. And connecting it back, his work is a powerful reminder that financial success isn't really about being clever or lucky. It's about clarity, consistency, and changing your mindset. You don't need to beat the market. Just ride it.
Right?
Patiently.
A powerful thought to leave everyone with. If money's true purpose is freedom, what will you choose to do with yours? We really hope this deep dive into The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins gave you some clear, actionable insights. And remember, you can support the author, dive even deeper yourself by grabbing the book. The link's in our description.
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive.
Brought to you by BookCast FM.
Bringing books to life one cast at a time.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive, helping you become truly well-informed. Until then, keep learning.